this getaway episode of Game. It's expert travel advice as we discuss the do's and don'ts of how to tip your doorman. We treat ourselves to a relaxing fire and brimstone wrap on the grounds of Hogwarts. And we talk about the latest exciting developments in the field of full body massage. All that and more coming up in the next half an hour. This is Game. Well, hello there and a very warm welcome to the show. My name's Kelly, and if you've got a little arcade fire burning in your tummy, well, you've come to the right place. Plenty to get through on this episode with puzzlers, action, and even a little treat for the football fans as we celebrate the beautiful game with the footy fiesta of FIFA 12. But first, it's a trip to the gaming den as Fraggy dons his rodeo leathers to pick apart Ubisoft's latest Western-themed shooter. In a blood-soaked quest for justice, let's see what our resident game guru thought of Call of Juarez, the cartel.
My fellow joypad jockeys, and welcome to Fraggy's Gaming Den, the place where we pick apart the games that matter. Now, in today's gaming review, we're going to be checking out the latest addition to the Call of Juarez series, a first-person shooter which was largely inspired by old spaghetti western movies and tales of the American Wild West. Now, if you haven't yet tried any of the previous games in this series, the first two were basically period gunslingers, chock full of pistol duels and stagecoach chases.
New outlaws.
So when I heard that the latest title was dropping all that Wild West flavor in favor of a more modern day setting, you could say I had my doubts. Using the real life backdrop of the Los Angeles border as inspiration, this latest entry puts you in the shoes of one of three undercover federal agents as they battle the Mexican drug cartels for control of the streets. Sounds interesting? Well, stick around. But besides an all-new focus on urban combat this time around, what else can gamers expect? And more importantly, is this game any fun to play? Well, mosey on up, because we're about to spend some time with Call of Juarez, the cartel. Now, if you're used to your shooters, then the biggest strength and the thing which sets this game apart is just the way it handles the campaign. Before you begin, you're asked to make a choice. There's Ben, a gruff LAPD policeman with a penchant for overcoats, Eddie, a DEA agent who loves his bling, and Kim, the sharpshooter, who just doesn't seem to like teeth. And far from being just cosmetic, your choice actually determines how the plot will pan out, because even though the main storyline is the same, everyone gets to experience it through their own perspective. Now, one way this is used is during car chase sequences, with one person behind the wheel while the others stick their heads out.
You'll be hearing from Agent Baresi of DEA Internal Affairs.
But the different perspective also comes into play during missions, with secret agendas which each character has to undertake on his own. Now, these usually involve collecting an item of value which is lying around the map, but the key thing is that these objectives have to be completed without you being seen by your other two partners. And if you're playing online, these small individual challenges really help to add to the overall experience, not to mention the replay value. Another thing I liked about the game were the cool ideas they added to the gameplay, so it's not just going around and shooting stuff all the time. Aside from the FPS staple of slow motion which makes its return, the cartel now also features sections of hand-to-hand combat, as well as some Call of Duty inspired door breaching.
Ready to bust the cap!
What's more, the game even makes use of something called team cover, in which you take turns with your teammates providing cover fire and taking out enemies, so that the three of you can advance all together. Pretty cool. Now, unfortunately, the cartel does ship with its share of problems, some of which may actually prevent a few of you from picking this one up. Now the biggest flaw is that while the environments themselves look great from a distance, textures in general have this low resolution washed out look to them. And what makes this even more confusing is the fact that the Cartel was built with the all-new Chrome 5 graphics engine, which if you follow logic, should look better than the old one, right? Well, not quite. The animations are also a little on the jerky side, and on the whole, the game just seems to lack the polish of its older brothers.
Then I guess you'll be seeing her at the pearly gates, cabron.
Now I can only hope some of these problems are fixed when the PC version is eventually released, because as it stands currently, Call of Juarez The Cartel is not the easiest game on the eyes. You know what, if you're willing to put up with the less than stellar presentation, then underneath its unpolished exterior, there actually is quite a bit to like about the new Call of Juarez. With an engaging three-way co-op campaign, as well as offering some unique ideas to the FPS landscape, this one offers a pretty long single-player experience and a serviceable multiplayer offering, with its own set of rules which should keep most gamers happy for a couple of weekends at least.
Reloading! Cover me!
Now personally, I think it's kind of silly to be using the Call of Juarez name to sell this one, because people are going to be expecting a Western-themed game, which wouldn't be all bad considering the success of recent Wild West games like Red Dead Redemption. It's a fun and solid offering, especially if you like your shooters, but do note, if the main reason you got into the series was for the setting, then you might want to think twice before joining the Cartel.
Thanks, Frags, and if you think that you're up to teaching those drug traffickers a thing or two about exploding profits, Call of Juarez The Cartel is available right now on the Xbox 360 and the PS3, with the PC version set for release in September. And with that little bit of seized contraband, we're off for a break. But still to come on this episode is Livin' La Frida Loca with the best free-to-play online games. And we cozy up with a couple of legends to find out what playing FIFA means to them. Hey there, welcome back to part 2 of the show. Time now for a little worldwide webby action as we bring you our weekly selection of the best time killers available on the internet. Our pick of the best free-to-plays. This is Online.
And this week's edition of the best that the net has to offer, we begin with a case of Stickman hijinks in Stealing the Diamond.
We got a breach headed towards the medieval section.
Now, like the name suggests, this one is all about a cunning thief and his plan to steal a large and valuable diamond from the town museum. Trouble is all the pesky guards. A sort of choose-your-own adventure, where your choices determine the outcome. Busted trying to sneak past security? No problem, just try something else. Now, no matter what you choose though, Stealing the Diamond will have you in stitches with a laugh-out-loud script as you try your best to figure out your next step. So if you're up for a laugh and you've got some time to spare, check this one out at the address below.
Wait.
Next up, we blast our way through the unexplored corridors of the internet to check in with a rather interesting action platformer called Zombotron. If you like your corridor shooters, then get ready for a treat, because this one is all about exploration as you travel the labyrinth of corridors hidden deep within the abandoned research facility. Looking a bit like a slightly more agile version of RoboCop, do the Robo Boogie as you take control and neutralize those targets. With a good selection of enemies, including all kinds of mutants and mechanical monstrosities, if you're in the mood for a casual shooty platformer, Zombotron's a pretty good one to check out. Give it a whirl at the address below. And finally, in our list of the best online distractions you can get, we turn our attention to a music puzzle game built with equal parts of elegance and simplicity in Drop. Now, looking at this one, it's pretty hard to tell what's going on, but the basic idea here is to guide drops of water from one pipe to another by building musical platforms for the droplets to bounce off. You see, each platform has a specific tone assigned to it, and even though the game starts out simple, pretty soon you'll be immersed in a tranquil aural kaleidoscope. So, if you're into music games like Electroplankton, or you just want to de-stress with your very own personal interactive wind chime, why not drop by the address below.
Now that's what I'm talking about, a fantastic collection of titles, all yours for nothing. And of course, if that little taster got you curious and you want to try out some of those games for yourself, all the links to the stuff we feature can be found by following the addresses below. Or if you're feeling up for it, head online for a bit of a chat. Myself, Frags and the boys from the game team are never too far away. Moving on, if you're like me and a little bit of a football nut, you're no doubt familiar with the long-standing FIFA series, which has, over the last few years, done a fantastic job of bringing home the beautiful game. Now, us amateurs know how much fun a virtual kickabout with a friend can be, but what about the pros? Well, in this edition of Inside, we rub shoulders with some of football's finest to find out just what playing FIFA means to them.
My name is Wayne Rooney. I play for Manchester United.
Meu nome é Sandro Oliveira da Costa.
Gerard Piqué, defensa central, Futebol Clube Barcelona.
Eu sou Ricardo Kaká, centrocampista do Real Madrid.
I'm Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I manage Molde Football Club in Norway, just gone back from Manchester United. Playing FIFA helps, first of all, players. They can see the game, they think about football.
My name is Scott Sellers. I'm the head coach of Manchester City Academy. We know the boys are all visual learners now, so we see the best way for them to learn is to play the game. We have a specific TV that's just set up for the FIFA games.
Some guys watch videos, some guys watch highlights. I play FIFA.
FIFA's so realistic now, you can see if they're any good on there and if they're good in real life.
If I'm playing a forward and I get in behind the goalie or the defense, you know, you're able to try out different types of shots and see what's the most effective, and I think that's a great tool.
It's about decision making in terms of when to pass, when to dribble, and we see it as a vital part of their education.
It gives me a stronger and an easier overview of the teams I'm playing against, because the ratings and the skills and the attributes you give the players, it's fantastic. And for me as a manager now, I could prepare a little bit.
Gosto muito de jogar videogame, ainda mais quando começo a reunir meus amigos em casa. Se deixar o dia inteiro a gente ficar jogando FIFA, as coisas que eu jogo no videogame, eu tento fazer no campo. Aí reúne a galera toda, todo mundo, cada um com seu time, dá até briga. Meu time é Barcelona e eu sou o último campeão.
Me van a decir que no soy humilde, pero creo que soy el mejor jugador jugando al FIFA.
Quando o Flamengo perdeu pro Ceará na Copa do Brasil, eu fui direto pro FIFA para ganhar aquele jogo. Eu sou flamenguista de coração.
With all our friends on there at the same time, we recreate games, whether it's playing for our countries or also playing for our clubs.
Dans FIFA, mon personnage, franchement, il est super bien fait. Bon, après, c'est vrai que je manque un peu de puissance pour me rajouter un peu de power.
Eu nunca fiquei tanto tempo parado por causa de uma lesão. Um dos meus confortos era jogar no FIFA. Tem um pouco as emoções que eu sinto dentro de campo, transferir um pouco jogando videogame.
When I was growing up, I used to edit myself into the game, and it's crazy now. I'm always playing with my character, and it's great, and it obviously saves me a bit of time. The best FIFA player that I've played against and that I've seen is Joleon Lescott, and that's because he gets too much time on his hands.
Wayne showed me, obviously, how to play FIFA, but since then, as they say, the student has become the teacher. I beat him 6-0.
Straight after we played Manchester City, and I scored the bicycle kick. I went on land, I played against Joleon Lescott.
Aaron Leonard and John Terry, so they're all my witness to see that I did beat Wayne Rooney on FIFA 11.
I beat him quite comfortably, so it was a great day on the pitch and both on the computer as well.
FIFA muchas veces te ayuda a estar preparado para intentar ganar.
FIFA is second to none, probably the most realistic thing you're going to get when it comes to football games.
Meu sonho é ser jogador de futebol e realizo esse sonho através do jogo, imaginando que eu estou dentro das 4 linhas.
FIFA is obviously the next best thing to being on the pitch.
Helping millions of would-be footballers with their game while they've got their butts on the couch? Well, FIFA 12 looks set to bring the action even closer with an all-new Impact engine for even more realistic tackles. Can't wait to see how that plays. And with that, it's break time. 120 seconds to go do the necessary. But stick around, because when we come back...
Help them!
We hang with Potter and his crew as they sing their swan song. And zombies stuck in reverse. Need I say more? Hey, welcome back. Kelly here, and a big thanks for joining me on our Pixel Cruise this week. Looking for something to keep your fingers busy this weekend? Well, fret not, because in this week's edition of The Wrap, we've painfully tracked down the top games for your perusing pleasure, starting with a little Expelliarmus. This is The Wrap.
We begin this edition of The Wrap with a return to the world's premier Magic Academy for a final chapter so big it had to be split into 2 parts. Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2 sees us back in the shoes of everyone's favorite enigmatic wand-waving trio as they set out to defeat one who shall not be named.
Tell them!
Voldemort. Based around the events of the final film in the Potter saga, this one comes to the table with a bunch of fixes to last year's release, including a focus on a more story-driven experience. Now, if you think this one looks a little familiar, well, you're right. Looking a little like Gears of Potter with magic wands instead of lancers, this one reeks of movie cash-in through and through. But hey, if you just can't get enough of the magical Scarface, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2 is available now.
Expecto Patronum!
Next up in our roundup of summer blockbusters, time to throw down with one of comic books' most popular superheroes as he barges his way right into the heart of the Nazi war machine. Set during the height of World War II, Captain America, Super Soldier, follows the exploits of the US Army's top agent, a man caught behind enemy lines controlled by the Red Skull.
To me.
Featuring a highly athletic combat system, allowing for some pretty fancy acrobatic fighting, block those bullets in a swan-like dance of patriotic perfection. America! Yeah! So if you're up for a little mindless beat-em-up, Captain America Super Soldier is available now.
Well done, Stroker. Is the mission accomplished?
Perfectly, Herr Zola. Very good.
I'm gonna get some new powers.
And finally in this edition of The Wrap, an oldie but a goodie as we check in with a title that we somehow missed when it first came out. Now, if you like open world games, then listen up, because one of the better ones has just been released in the shape of Infamous 2.
Come on, see what you got.
A follow-up to the 2009 original, this one builds upon the excellent gameplay of the first game, giving players a whole slew of super abilities and letting them loose in an open world city. One of the more compelling superhero games out there, this one comes with the same play on good versus evil as you make the moves to build your legacy. With a great storyline and superpowers with even more oomph this time around, if you haven't yet experienced the go anywhere, do anything gameplay of the first title, give this one a shot at your nearest video game store.
Cheers, brother. Half as long.
Twice as bright.
Grand Theft Auto with superpowers? A shockingly good title to while the weekend away. Infamous 2 comes highly recommended if you like your open world action games. Time now to tilt our heads just a little as we look with glazed eyes at some of the killer titles which will soon be spinning in a console near you. Living in the fast lane and turning time with the undead? It's all up next in the preview.
On this scorching edition of the preview, we get our asphalt in gear for the latest Formula One game soon to hit the shelf. F1 2011. A definite title to pick up for those who view their rides as hot-blooded metal horses. This year's release is set to come with a range of upgrades for those who've been there and done that and crashed the car to prove it.
You're closing in on the car ahead.
With a complete roster of teams for the 2011 season and featuring the all-new Indian track, the Bud International Circuit,
Box in this lap.
the focus this time around is on a more complete multiplayer experience. With an all-new split-screen mode and improvements to the online component, which for the first time allows for up to 16 players to go at it for pole position.
2 laps to go, 2 laps.
If you think you've got the moves, look out for this one when it takes the checkered flag in September. Next up in the preview, it's all eyes on the cinematic trailer of one of this year's most highly anticipated releases, Dead Island. An action role-playing game, this one pits you as one of 4 survivors trying to survive a zombie outbreak in the middle of paradise. Now, as you can tell from this flash bit of cinema, the focus here, if you pardon the irony, is on delivering the most realistic zombie game possible. Featuring a mature storyline and gameplay which centers around melee combat rather than machine guns, this title looks to usher in a complete 180 turnaround for the well-worn zombie game genre. So, book your ticket and check those reservations, because Dead Island is set to open its shores real soon in September.
Poor little sweetie pie zombie. Now, just so that the adults don't get their knickers in a twist, the developers have said that Dead Island will not, and I repeat, will not contain any child zombies when the game releases in September. And with that, sadly, that's it for this episode of Game. But we're never really that far away. You can always check in at our website at espnstar.com/game for snippets of the show. Chat with us and a whole bunch of other gamers on our Facebook page. That's facebook.com/ESSGame, or head online to www.espnplayer.com to catch our new speedy on-demand streams. Till next week, guys, keep those thumbs twiddling. It's Kelly signing off.